Hello, hello, 390 Wagon Master here. Today, this video, we're going to take a look at the Radioddity QT60, and I'm going to show you how to do the 11 meter modification. All right, let's get started. Okay, so in the box, we get a very nice 3-pin Uniden style power cord with a 10 amp fuse. Little hardware packet with our mounting knobs, an extra backup fuse. I'm going to assume that's 10 amps. And then, of course, the little rubber bracket bushings. Always put those in, guys. I see people that don't do that, and they're there for a reason. That's so you don't have to get down and cinch down on those knobs to make the radio so it doesn't slide around in the bracket. So always use those. And then, of course, we have a nice bracket. This is actually a pretty stout bracket. This is actually better than my Accessory Unlimited brackets that I used to sell. Still probably have some. It's like Cobra 148 style. Okay. DX type bracket. Good bracket. No powder coating or anything like that. Just a nice natural raw material. And then, of course, a Radioddity instruction manual, and I like these Radioddity instruction manuals. They're kind of a classy manual, just not like some Xerox copied 8x10s folded in half rather sloppily. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty easy manual, and it's written very well, and it shows you what all of the menus are. All right, or the functions in the menu. So really cool. And of course, it comes with the Radioddity stock mic. I've dealt with this stock mic before on the QT40. And it's a very good sounding stock mic. And this is another one of those radios. You know, I've been using this on the air now for a couple days. 2 days to be exact. And I get lots of unsolicited audio reports. They just say, wow, that radio sounds good. So, yeah. Same thing with the QT40. Same thing with the CB5000 as well. And something that does not come in the box with the radio, and this is an accessory that you have to buy. I believe it's like $19 and change. And this is the programming cable. Okay, USB-A. What is that? Is that a USB-D? I forget what they call those. Anyway, with the little handshake here, the little handshake board, the TTL board. So anyway, that's optional, and Radioddity was kind enough to ship that with the radio for me. By the way, full disclaimer, as with the other radios, this radio has been sent to me by Radioddity for review, and I have been trusted by them to, you know, tell you what I like and don't like about these radios. All right, so let's get started with that. All right, so this is almost a Galaxy Ranger Cobra 148 size chassis in that it's about 7 7/8 in width, and from the back of the rather bodaciously large heatsink, it's 10 inches to the front knobs, and what is that, like 2 3/8 high? Yeah, something like that. So anyway, it's not a mini radio, right? It's just more along the lines of the older standard chassis size radio. And I'll show you the back here in just a second, but let's go over some of the front panel features. We're going to try not to make this a long video, however, you know how that works here. All right, so I have an RJ45 mic plug. This is our frequency button here. This allows us, these are all, by the way, multi-function buttons. This allows us to get a frequency readout, right? And our repeater split, which is way cool. I like that. All right. If you're into 10 meter repeaters, or you want to start dabbling in 10 meter repeaters, this may be the radio to get, as far as just how simple this thing is to set up. So over here we have our band button here. This is also a dual function button as well. We're on D band right now, and we can change our various bands. And if I go to frequency counter mode, you'll see that. Okay. So if I remember right, we have, what are we here? We go from 24.715 to like 30.105. I hope y'all can handle that. Anyway, it does everything it's supposed to do. And what I like about this is you can kind of have this in the VFO mode and toggle back. So say, for instance, you want to land somewhere like on triple nickel or something like that, you can have it set up and then you'll just be able to toggle back and forth. It is pretty cool, that's for sure. I like the way they did that. Now, as far as the in order of the bands goes, well, that's a little funky, but all these radios are kind of like that anyway. So anyway, we have a dedicated rotary volume control, which I like. That first step, though, is a little much for me. I use external speakers here on the base station, and I have a very efficient 6x9 in a cabinet here, and that first notch is just a little high. I'd like to see that just maybe down one more notch, but other than that, a really nice rotary control, feels really good. I like it. We have our separate RF gain and RF power output knobs here. This is all mobile friendly, like for using in your vehicles, okay? We have our menu button, and this is sort of a dual function button as well. We have some more MFB multifunction buttons here. We have our mode button, our dual watch, Roger beep, and key bleep, noise blanker, high cut, all on that same one. So for instance, you momentarily press it to get noise blanker on and off, push and hold, and then you get the high cut, and I like that being set up like that. We have scan. By the way, I was using that a lot yesterday when the conditions dropped out. This is a great scanner in here with the way you can set this up with your squelch and all that. And then you can eliminate channels. Like say you have a birdie on channel, I don't know, let's pull one out. Say channel 18, you have a birdie. You can take channel 18 out of the scan, and so this won't keep stopping. So that's a cool feature. I believe President came up with that originally, and I really like that. And these guys did a good job with that as well. Okay, then we have channel memory and storage. We have our emergency channels here, which generally come set at channel 9 and 19, but I have this set up for channels 17 and 19. I usually do them for like 17 and 23, but I like that. And then of course you can change what modes you're using too, you know, so that works out really well. And then we have our channel selector, and that is a nice feeling encoder. It has a really good tight feel to it as far as the clicks go. And of course they always wiggle a little bit. They have to. I mean, that's just an engineering thing. But I really like that. And then of course you push button to gain into other functions as well to help along with the menu. I'm not going to get into those. I'll do another separate video on that. And then over here we have our clarifier, which is factory set at half kc down, half kc up. Okay, 500 cycles down, 500 cycles up. And this is like some of the Presidents, and I like that in that, you know, like an old school, say Cobra 140, I just use that as a baseline radio, but like an old school 148 or a Galaxy or something, you just barely turn that off of center slot, and you know, you're down 100 cycles. This doesn't work that way. This is our readout here. And this gives us some leeway. So maybe you're in the mobile and you're just a titch off of center slot right here, right? You're still okay. All right. And then we'll go down like 10 cycles, 20 cycles, 30, and et cetera, et cetera. It's not too touchy. I really like that. And then, of course, you can set this up for a further span. I believe up to 5 kcs down, which at that point it would act more like a, you know, old school radio. All right. And then our squelch. You turn it all the way clockwise. It's auto squelch on AM and FM, and then you get up to like, I don't know, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock position, and then the squelch is off, and then you go into a manual squelch mode here, and it's showing us that on the display. So I like that. I like that very much, actually. And the display is pretty interesting. And by the way, what I do is I get into the habit, because like because I'm old school, so like when I go counterclockwise, I expect my squelch to be off, right? And it's off on sideband, but when I go to AM, it's squelched up. All right, you're in auto squelch mode at that point. So here's what I do. I watch my screen, and then I just back it off just to where it says squelch. So now, no matter what mode I go into, I'm just unsquelched. So I dig that. All right, so let's see if we can get a little bit better angle on the dangle here for the screen. We'll try that. Okay, on the screen we have our SRF meter, right? This is a receive signal. This is relative power out, SWR out, and then our little display area telling us what we're doing. And then we have our modes here, right? FM, AM, upper sideband, lower sideband. And I have omitted the PA and the CW section on this, and I'll get to that in just another second here. And then, of course, this is our band telling us what band we're on. So super easy to read in the mobile and on the base, not a problem. We can adjust the brightness, I almost said volume, the brightness here on the screen. And we're stuck with orange. I wish they gave us the 7 choices that most all the other radios go. I'm a cyan guy. That's kind of for my eyes, that's just a better background for me. However, this doesn't look out of place. Kind of gives you that old school feel. And you know, the orange, it works. It's not too aggressive. And I like it. I like the way the screen is set up. I like the, you know, the large radio look. All right, let's take a look at the rear of the radio. Okay, so on the rear panel, we have our SO239. This is a screw-on type connector, and that's a good quality connector. We have a 3.5 millimeter jack here for the PA speaker. We have a 3.5 millimeter here for the external speaker, but I call them 1/8 inch. I'm old school. I knew these as 1/8 inch headphone jacks. All right, so that's what that is. Here is our data port here, our plug-in for the programming cable, which makes a nice positive plug-in. I like the way that fits in there. Yes, that can be a thing. And then my favorite power connection here, the 3-pin Uniden style outlet here. So very cool. I don't know if you noticed this thing. Oh my God, listen to that. Can you guys hear that on camera? Listen to that. Oh my gosh, heat sinks rule. This is a very large heat sink. Look at that puppy. Let's, you know, let me grab my little tapey tape here, tape measure, and let's just measure that. That is, what is that? That's 1 3/4 inches. That ain't no downstream heatsink, boys, and about 4 3/8 in width. All right, and what's our height? We're at about 2, give or take, at my angle. That is no downstream heatsink at all. And it does a very good job doing its job. So I've been ratchet jawing quite a bit today on single sideband, and the radio cabinet itself is just a hair over room temperature. Side over here where the voltage regulator was not crazy warm or anything like that. And this heatsink was warm. So basically this thing is doing its job, and it's doing a damn good job. All right, let's take a look at the insides. Alrighty, I'll try to throw a few still shots in here with some better lighting. So anyway, let's take a look at the insides real quick. Here are our finals, and you know, I honestly don't know what those are. I'm going to assume that they're IRF 520s. There is 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. We have our driver up here, pre-driver. This has an SWR meter in it, as you saw, so I'm going to assume that's our SWR bridge right there. And I like this little addition, more heatsink. Oh yeah! And this is doing a great job on dissipating heat, pulling heat away from this chassis, so that's why that chassis felt so good. That doesn't sound right, does it? Anyway, and then our AM regulator in there. And don't look at this cut white wire and this jumped jumper, okay? Because that will make this radio illegal. But this is how you do the mod for, I hate using this term, 11 meters. This is how you convert this radio from going from a 10 and 12 meter radio to a CB radio, general coverage, let's say. We have the ever so famous white wire that you cut. We have our 3 pins here with the jumper coming factory on pins 1 and 2, and you're going to want to jump that to 2 and 3. That is the mod right there. And then you just turn the stinking radio on, and she's a runner. All right. So if this chassis looks familiar, let me know in the comments section down below, because it is. So tell me what you guys think. And yeah, cool. So we have some jumpers up here, and I saw somewhere, I don't know, on some YouTube channel on another radio, and they were talking about these jumpers. Okay, so this is for like bias and stuff when they service these and align these at the factory. Unless you are a qualified technician, you have the proper gear, the proper software, because it goes in just beyond the programming software that's on these guys' website. Do not touch this, okay? Do not touch. So just leave them the hell alone. There's nothing that you're going to gain from doing anything with that. And quite honestly, all these CB shops and everything that are trying to sell you on modifying these and making these things sound better, they're taking your money. These radios sound just freaking awesome out of the box. This isn't like an old 70s Midland where it's a dog out of the box or anything like that. These are good sounding radios. You're not going to really make any meaningful modifications. You're just literally wasting your money. And if that sounds opinionated, it's because it is. But that is the honest to gosh darn truth. You want a radio like this to last a long time? Because look at this. These are not easy to repair. Don't futz with them. Don't let anybody put their golden screwdrivers, soldering pens in here. Just leave them alone. All right? This is a good design, and it works really well. Okay? And then, of course, this, classic chassis, right? I mean, we've seen this for like the last 30-something years. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. There's our certification, FCC certified and all of that. Don't mind the broken warranty labels on there, but in order to make this radio do what you want it to do, you got to get into it, all right? And then one last thing, I'll show you the internal built speaker. Yes, a normal speaker. There we go. That's like a 3-inch speaker, just the standard speaker, yeah. And it's very, very efficient. And puts out a lot of volume for sure. Again, I'm an external speaker guy just because of my goofy hearing, but this works very well, all right. So that's it. So let's see. Let's take some power measurements, because I have not yet done that. All right, so we've got her set up. I'm on the dummy load, so we're not going to interfere with the outside world. We are on channel 20. Ta-da! AM down there, which it doesn't really matter on these radios. They're so wide banded, you really don't see much of a difference between top and bottom power outputs, but it's just habit, right? AM channel 20. All right, that's where I start. So I am on the Bird. We are in RMS reading right now, and I have my 100-watt slug in, and we're going to read this bottom scale, 20, 40, 60, 80, a Hunsky, and every increment here is 2 watts. This is 10 watts. And then, of course, this is 20. All right. So I am on AM. Now, remember, this is with the mod already done. I did not test this unmodded, but anyway, I probably should have, but I didn't. Who's going to leave it that way anyway? Seriously. So let's do some real-world power measurements. Okay, so let me see here, just real quick, so you can see. I genuinely do this. In fact, I'm going to actually measure. Let's get the measure in here. How far is this away from my ginormous chin here? About 20 inches away. Okay. So what we're going to do is zoom back in. All right, we're going to key up on AM. And it looks like I'm sitting right around about 16 watts dead key. And can you see? In fact, my hand's even covering that little pinhole. But as you can see, just sitting here talking like this normal, just making this video here, I'm actually getting 2 watts of forward swing in RMS mode, which is awesome. I've heard this radio, all right, and it sounds great with the stock mic. So yeah, no problem. Let's go with AM. It's got a good sound to it, actually. And we'll just do that. Whoa. So again, here I'm at like 20 inches away, right? Audio, audio. Let me get it up to my mug here. Audio, 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 audio. Hello, audio, audio. 1, 2, 3. Mary had a little lamb, and I know that's dumb, but anyway, there it is. 54, 56 watts, roughly. Real world. Just talking like somebody normally would. No test tones, none of that stuff. So that's pretty darn good. Let's turn the PEP Feel Good Wattses off. I'm going to go over here to FM. FM, I'm at about 45 watts. Just about 45, give or take, at my angle here. I don't know what you're seeing on the camera, but that's about what that's looking like to me. And of course, obviously that's not going to move because it doesn't. But yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go to single sideband. And we'll just go USB. Audio, 1, 2, 3, hello. Audio, audio, audio. 1, 2, 3, hello. Radio, audio. So about 38. Let's see what our average talk power is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio, audio, audio. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can see that limiter's kicking in, but that's actually not bad at all. So let's see what we're doing in PEP. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio, audio, audio. Just a hair under 60. Just a hair under 60. That doesn't really mean much because, you know, meters vary a little bit. Some slugs are tighter than others. But it's a QT60, so it's putting out basically what it's supposed to put out. And something I didn't really know until the other day was I was looking at the Radioddity's website, and I've had a QT40 here, and I actually like that radio. I'd like to actually score one. But it puts out 40 watts, right? It's QT40, 40 watts. QT60, 60 watts. QT80, 80 watts. There you go. Pretty easy to remember for sure. So anyway, that's box stock. I don't have any reference to any test modes or tuning procedures beyond just the setup software that you can get off the website. So if you need more power, I don't know, there might be something out there that you could do to upgrade the power a little bit, but I don't really think you need to. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, if you need more power, buy an amplifier, right? Just kind of let the radio do the slow cruise and then buy an amplifier. All right, there you go. So that's my overview of the Radioddity QT60. Again, I'm getting really good audio reports. I worked a lot of FM DX on channel 40. It was totally accidentally a couple days ago. And that back heatsink was getting nice and toasty. Wattage is heat. FM puts out a lot of heat. And again, the heatsink was doing what it was supposed to do. The regulator side of the board wasn't getting all crazy hot or anything like that. So I feel it's a fairly efficient running radio. And just the audio reports that I get from this thing, no matter what mode I'm in, AM, FM, lower sideband, have just been awesome. So anyway, I'm going to run it for a few more days, and then I will shoot another video, and we'll talk about it, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you have one of these, please let me know how you like it. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Etc., etc. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, guys. Cheers.